everyone, I'm Dr. Megan McNeil. I'm a clinical and forensic psychologist. Please watch the following video with caution. As usual, it contains descriptions of violence and homicide. I once worked with a woman who was charged with murder for beating and strangling another woman to death. My client, who I will refer to as Amanda, which is not her real name, was in her early 20s when she and several others were charged with homicide. Amanda grew up in a middle-class family. She did pretty well in school, but she got involved in methamphetamine during high school. Around age 18, after she graduated high school, she started dating a guy who was physically abusive towards her. Her parents noticed bruising on her arms and around her neck, but Amanda consistently denied the abuse, and eventually she just stopped going to her parents' house. Amanda stayed in that relationship for about a year, and then she left him for a drug dealer who was even worse. He beat her almost every day. He would rape her and strangle her. She was with him for a couple of years, and she could not get away from him, in part because he was also her supplier, and she had a raging methamphetamine addiction at that time. She couldn't get away from this abusive boyfriend until she met her co-defendant, who was in his mid-30s, and she was in her early 20s. He was also a drug dealer. She said that her co-defendant rescued her from the abusive relationship. But it turns out he was just as abusive, if not worse. He started his verbal and physical abuse towards her within a couple of weeks of their relationship. My client, Amanda, would drive her 30-something-year-old boyfriend around in the evening so he could do his drug deals because he didn't have his own driver's license. After several months into their relationship, Amanda's boyfriend's buddy came to visit for a week. One evening, they were driving around doing drug deals, and they picked up this buddy's ex-girlfriend. Amanda's boyfriend then told her to drive out into the woods, which she thought was odd because this was unusual behavior for them. Although she was confused, she complied because he would punch her in the face if she disobeyed him. Once they got into the woods, Amanda was told to stop the car, at which point her boyfriend and his buddy got out of the car, pulled the ex-girlfriend out, and beat her with a flashlight and strangled her to death with a belt. After they killed her, they dragged her body into the woods and left her there. They returned to the car and told Amanda to drive back to the city. It did not take long for the police to arrest Amanda and these men. She was charged with murder, even though it was clear she'd been driving and she never touched the victim. In many states, when a group of people are involved in illegal behavior together and somebody is killed, each person in that group can be charged with murder. And that's what happened with Amanda. Her co-defendants identified her as the driver, never having any physical contact with the victim. But because she was present, she was still charged with murder. I saw her in custody, and despite the abuse history by her boyfriend, Amanda was very loyal to him, and she would not cooperate against him. She was convinced they would make it through this together and that they would end up together. The defense worked with her for a good year before she would talk about the abuse that occurred in that relationship. She didn't see herself as a victim of domestic violence. She kept insisting that her boyfriend had rescued her from the real abuser, the drug dealer she dated before him, who was very abusive towards her. Over time, Amanda started revealing more and more information about her relationship with the co-defendant. For example, he would make her put methamphetamine in her anal cavity, and then he would have sex with her and strangle her. Now, some people might like doing this, and if it's a consenting adult, that's a different story. But Amanda did not like this. 2 days prior to the homicide, her boyfriend became upset with her for some reason, and he beat her up and then strangled her until she lost consciousness. This was when the boyfriend's buddy was visiting, and he witnessed that assault. Amanda said she woke up hearing her boyfriend and his buddy talk about how to get rid of her body because her boyfriend thought he had killed her. He then apologized profusely, and they entered the honeymoon phase of their relationship. But she knew what he was capable of and not to cross him. So 2 days later, when they were out doing drug deals, and her boyfriend told her to pick up the buddy's ex-girlfriend, she didn't even question it. Amanda did not know at the time that this buddy had a vendetta against his ex-girlfriend because she had testified against him in a trial many years prior, and he was convicted and then incarcerated. He was seeking revenge against her. Amanda was incredibly traumatized by watching her boyfriend and his friend kill this victim. As the case progressed, she started to realize they had planned this incident long before it happened. For example, her boyfriend had leather gloves with him, which was really unusual. He never wore gloves. She eventually agreed to cooperate and gave police more information about the homicide. The prosecutor seemed well aware that Amanda was not involved in the murder. I think the prosecutor saw her as a victim of circumstance, especially since the buddy told police officers about Amanda's boyfriend nearly killing her. Amanda's charges were eventually reduced from murder to criminally negligent homicide, which is a much less serious charge and carries around 5 years in prison. I sincerely hope Amanda has done a fair amount of counseling and has learned to choose better partners. If you like these videos and you want me to keep uploading them, please hit like or subscribe. I have full videos on YouTube and training videos on Substack. Thanks for watching.